Welcome to my channel Data with Ashok. So today we are diving deep into some powerful Excel tips that you can use to manage and analyze your data with ease. So like in this video, we will mainly discuss some important functions that you can use for routine data analysis. So those functions are shared here. So we will discuss each function one by one. So let's say we are going to cover these many functions today. So let's say first function that we are going to cover is the filter. Filter is a very important function that when you are dealing with the long data sheets or working with the long Excel files, this function can help you to quickly identify the pattern, to quickly identify and filter your datasets. For instance, here we have a data which you can see in the left hand side, in which we have some type of expenses like healthcare, fitness, rent, groceries, and then we have the state information in the second column. Like healthcare expenses in this states is around this much, and the third column is the expense. Now what if you are interested and you would like to only see the expenses that are happening in one state? So you can use a filter function for a quick for example. So for filter function, you need to put the filter, then you need to put the array. So the array for us is this, then you need to put the comma, then you need to provide the pattern. So the pattern you need to find in this. So this is another, here you want to search. So this is your array, here you would like to search, and what is your pattern? Let's say you want to search this in Minnesota. So like in your complete array, you want to search the Minnesota state, and then you would like to say if the state that is not defined, then you will put the not found. So if we'll do like this, then you can see here everything you are seeing, the healthcare, fitness, rent, and grocery, the expense you are seeing here, and those are for the Minnesota you can get. So like filter function is extremely important here. Like if we will change the state here, if I will do, let's say, California, then everything will change here. It will change, like it will give you all the expenses, those are coming to the different categories by the complete. Like you can change any state, you can change the state that is present here, so you will come Nevada. But if you will write any state that is not here, for example the state that is not present here, I think the Texas, so it will give you not found, the result is not found. So let's change this to the state that is there in our categories, California. Okay, now so this shows you the importance of the filter function. You can quickly filter out the long data sheets. Now if you just would like to add a drop down menu for this, and that you can also do. So for the drop down menu, you need to go to the data, you can go to the data validation, you can select from here is the list, and the list you can select here the source, and in the source you can select all these the states which are there. Okay, and now when you select all the states, then you can hit OK. Now you have in the drop down menu, you can quickly check Nebraska. So all the healthcare, fitness, rent, and grocery expenses you will get for the Nebraska. The similarly you can change it for like Minnesota, you can do it for Oklahoma, you can do it for Nevada. So this is the filter function that is very important. Now there is another function which is a unique function. So you would like to know, okay, out of the expenses, out of the areas of expenses, how many unique expenses we are seeing here. So you can use the unique function in this case. For instance, you will do unique, and then you will select this array from here to here, and you will get these are the unique areas which you have, like healthcare, fitness, rent, and grocery. You just simply need to change this command, like unique function command, if you want to check the unique states in your data set. So you can do this. So you will get like how many states unique you have: California, Nebraska, Minnesota, Oklahoma, Florida, Chicago, and Nevada. So unique you can identify. Then there is a very important function after the unique, is a sort. Like what if you would like to sort this complete data frame? Like you need to define the index, and then you need to define on what basis you would like to sort it. So for instance, I would like to sort this data frame, sort the complete array, then I want to sort it, let's say by expense, and I can say this whether I want to sort it in the ascending order or in the descending order. So in the expense column, if I will put 1, that means it will sort it in the ascending order. So everything that you are seeing here, like fitness, Oklahoma, so in this column, whatever you are seeing is in the ascending order. The least expense is the top and the most expense is the at the bottom, and this complete data frame is sorted based on the expenses. Now you can quickly change this, like if you don't want to sort it on the ascending order, if you want to, let's say, change it on based on the descending order, so you can do negative. Once you will do the negative, you will see the expenses are arranged based on the top expense at the top and the lowest expense at the bottom. So this is the sort function that you can use here. Okay, now there are other there are some other functions also that you can use. For example, after sort there is another important function, which is a sort by, in which that is allow you to sort data based on one column but keep the array intact. For example, if you would like to do the sort by instead of sort, so let's check the sort by column. So this is sort by, and in sort by, if I will do my array, which is from A6 to C33, then I will do another column, which is, let's say, my state, and this I want to sort in ascending order, but I would like to select the expense, and this expense I want to sort on the descending order. So if I will do like this, so like sort by function is sometimes very useful when you want to keep your array intact, and you can sort the columns in the ascending and descending order based on your need. For example, if I will just simply hit the click button here, so what you are seeing is the column 2, which we did from the for the state, it's sorted based on the ascending order, like the names you will see, California, Chicago, Florida. But at the same time, the expense column, this is sorted in the descending order. So like for each state, first state will come, and then for everything will come in the descending order in terms of the expense. So that there here, like sort by function can be really useful for you. Now when we learned about the sort by function, let's check the sum. Sum is also very important. So in sum there are two type of functions. Sum is, one is, let's say, sum if, that calculates the total expenses. So here you can see the sum if function, if we'll use this, will calculate the total expenses for these specific categories or these states. Let's say what we'll do for the sum if. So sum if I will do from A6 to A33, okay, and then I will do A6 to A33 sum if for healthcare, then I want to do, let's say, this for sum for rent, okay, and then I want to check the expense. So this will give me the total sum of the rent across the states. So that when we are using this sum if function, in sum if function, what I'm saying is, okay, give me the total of the rent that has been spent across the states. What if I will just change this rent to the fitness? So here what you are seeing is the total of the total that is spent, expense is spent on the fitness across the states. Like this is the total 503 that we are getting. Okay, so that's how the sum function is extremely important. Now if you would like to learn the sum ifs function, sum ifs function is important when you are using the multiple conditions, such as like total expenses in California for healthcare specifically. So instead of sum, if you will use the sum ifs function, then for sum ifs function, you will define the expense, you will define where you want to search that and in which state, for instance. So let's say if you are using the sum ifs function, sum ifs, then you need to define the expense, that is total here. Then you need to define the area in which you want to like expense this. Then you can here define in which area you want to so like let's say area is fitness for me, then I want to select the fitness expense in which state. So I will do this Nevada, for example. So if I will do this, then I will get only expense in the fitness area that Nevada is spending, not the total one. So here we can see quickly, like fitness, on fitness Nevada is spending 76.25, and that we are getting using the SUMIFS function. And the sum function, if we are doing in the sum function, what we are doing is the healthcare expense or the fitness expense across the states. So we are getting the total here. Okay. Now there are some other functions also, those might not be very important at the moment, but those functions can be when you are dealing with the long functions. You are not using the SQL, so the index function can help you to find out the pattern match of two or more combinations. For example, this in this case, like index function can be really useful. For example, index function, if you can define, so in index you can define the array like C6 to C33, then you can define the match. So the match can be for you, let's say the match is fitness Nevada. Okay, fitness Nevada. Okay, now you will do A6 to 33 and B6 to 33, and you will define the 0, which tells you the exact match. So when you are doing the exact match, it will ask you to put yes. So the same thing that we were doing with the sum ifs function, we can do directly by the index matching. But the index matching, the important trick here is, like if you want a combination, like Californians, how much they are spending on the healthcare, so you need to take the California and healthcare as a match. You need to search the expense in the expense column, and you need to provide that you are searching for the exact match. So here you can use the index function. Then there is a very important function that we would like to see here is the count function. So the count function is sometimes useful when you simply want to count like how many instances you have in the row or column wherever you want. So let's say if I will do simple account function and I will check, okay, in this, like how many total instances I have from A6 to A33. So sorry, this should be the count A instead of count. We are not counting, we are not counting the total number of instances. We are counting the total number of instances, not the numbers. So for us, if we are using the count A function, it will give like this, so we'll get 28. So like we have total 28 instances. It will count the non-empty cells that determine, it will count non, that will determine the number of entries in the dataset. Now instead of count A function, we can use count if also. That will meet like specific criterias, like count how many instances are there which are meeting with the specific criteria, and criteria can be anything from here. Okay, so let's say if I will do count, if I will do count if function, okay, and I will take, let's say 6 to 833 again, and then I will use the criteria, let's say fitness. So for fitness, how many instances I have? 7. Okay, now count ifs function can use the multiple criteria at the same time. How it will use the multiple criterias, like I can check how many instances. So for example, how many instances, count ifs, how many instances from A6 to A33 we have which matches with fitness. Then how many instances we have from, sorry, so we need to do, if we are matching with, so we need to do the A, not B, because our fitness is in this column. So how many instances in this column matching with the fitness, then how many instances in this column matching with let's say state, and state in Nevada here. So here you will get like 1. So like if you want to get the combination also, like how many the areas, which particular area in which state, and how many counts, how many time it is present in the table. So the count function can be really useful here. So before going into the pivot table, let me briefly summarize. We haven't seen the text function. This is like simple. Text join means like when you want to join two things, like if you can join this with this, so it will give you healthcare plus California together. And when you will get this joint function, it can be used when you're using the index function. So we have seen filter. Filter is really useful to quickly filter out your Excel. We have seen unique, like number of unique instances are there, we can quickly count it. We have seen the sort function. Sort we have seen in ascending and descending order. Like if we have a large Excel table, we can quickly sort the complete Excel based on the any column that we want. Right now we want based on the expense, so we can quickly sort it out based on the like whether we want it ascending or descending order. Then we have seen sort by function also. This was very very important. This keeps the structure of array intact. Like we are using the complete array, and then we are deciding, okay, one column we want in the ascending order and one column we want in the descending order. So that's how we can keep track of these states, and at the same time we can filter out in that particular state the expenses are going from higher to lower or lower to higher. This is very very important. Then we have seen the sum function. Sum if function was very very important to quickly sum the expenses in a particular category across states. But the sum ifs function, if we'll use, then we can at least define that the particular expense that we are looking for, the in which state, in which area, like we can use this function. Then we have seen the index. Index will give the same information as the sum ifs. If we are not using the sum if function, we can use the index function, but we need to provide the two categories that we want, like which area, which state. Then it will give us the total number of expense. Text join function will give the same information. It will just join two information, like it can give join these two, healthcare to California, and then once we'll get the output of this join function we can use for the we can use in the index one. Okay, then we have seen the count. So the count a function will give us the total number of instances in a column. Then if we'll use the count if, it will give the total number of instances in the column that match with a particular pattern. And for us it can be like fitness, it can be California, it can be rent, it can be healthcare, anything in that particular column. And then if you would like to use the count ifs function, it will support the multiple conditions. Like we can select one column in which we can find a pattern, and then we can select another column, which we are doing here, and we can find another pattern there. So countif function will help us to find multiple patterns in multiple columns. Last but not the least, let's see the pivot table. Pivot table is also really really helpful to summarize whatever information we have in the Excel table. So let's say select this complete Excel, go to insert, click on the pivot table, and then do the new worksheet. Okay, when you will do the new worksheet, you will get something like this. Now this is a pivot table for you, and in this pivot table you can select the area. So right now the area is for us is the row labels, and that is fitness, grocery, healthcare, and rent. And if I will put the expense, it will give me the total expense that is happening on fitness. So on fitness the total expense is happening is 503. On grocery it's this much, on rent this much. But one thing is here, that we are seeing the expense in the particular areas, but this is the total expense that is happening across the states. We don't have the state information here. What we can do, if we'll do the state here, so it will just subset this data based on the state information. Now what you are seeing is the total number of expense you are seeing in California is 3460, and which comes from the rent, healthcare, grocery, and fitness. Same for Chicago, Florida, Minnesota, Nebraska, Nevada, and Oklahoma. So now this table is divided based on the states. Like initially what we are seeing, the fitness expense across states. So it was the total of fitness across states. If we'll simply remove the state, it will give us this information. So this pivot table is really useful to quickly explore the data, subset the data to find out the meaningful information. So in this tutorial we have covered all these functions. We have even seen how to create a drop down menu for filtering, that we have seen. If we are changing the drop down menu here, everything is changing in the filter function. We have seen all these functions in detail, and in our next video, in my next video, I will come up with some another skill set. I will come up with some another tricks and tools that you can use to boost your data analysis skills. So stay tuned and hit the bell icon for the more updates. Thank you so much.